The Ravagers, number 2, written by Howard Mackey and Tom DeFalco, art by Ian Churchill. Last issue left off with the group seemingly leaping to their death off of a cliff to escape capture by the other Ravagers. I'm realizing how confusing the naming of this is going to be. I'm going to say Harvest's group from now on. So these Ravagers are now just on a block of ice in the Arctic Ocean, and Caitlin's just like, I had a plan, and it didn't really go so well, so maybe I need to come up with a better plan. So basically, Caitlin just starts reasoning out, all right, look, this ice is going to break apart any minute now. It's very stormy, very terrible here. I see a ship off in the distance. Ridge, I've studied your file. You're able to, hold your breath forever, so just jump in the water and push us over there. And Ridge is like, you got a plan? And he's like, totally got a plan. And he's like, all right, I'm holding you to it. And she's like, mostly have a plan. So he pushes them over to the boat, and then we cut over to Harvest Group, who are apparently in Mongolia now, and we see Windshear and Bright Eyes, the two that were captured last issue, are being brought before someone called the Keeper, who, I don't know, he keeps them. There's genuinely no explanation. He's just a big, bulky dude who has a smaller dude jetting out of his stomach. So, whatever. Krang. So he's like, all right, so yeah, we're going to go, and we're going to, the goal now is we need to capture the other escapees and kill or capture Caitlin Fairchild. So immediately Rose and Warblade are like, okay, I didn't realize she was even still on the board. Why do we have to deal with her? He's like, oh, it doesn't matter. We're not sending you guys. We're sending Shadow Walker, who was apparently the first Ravager, the first of Harvest Group, and his most loyal. And he controls some weird goopy substance that is like Shadow. So anyway, he goes up to Harvest, and he's like, what can I do, my lord? And Harvest says, go get Caitlin Fairchild and also bring me the other ones. But don't eat them. You can eat, however, this one woman because she failed me. And so he sucks the life out of this one woman and then makes his way to find out where the rest of them are. Cut to Seattle, Washington. They've all arrived, and they're yelling about how they nearly attacked all the sailors who were on that boat that they jumped onto. To which, Caitlin's like, all right, guys, we need to lay down some ground rules on how we're going to be from now on. And Thunder and Lightning are like, bitch, no, we're out. Bye. And so they leave, go on their own separate way. And at that point, Thunder, 20 minutes later, is like, maybe we shouldn't have left. Maybe we should have stayed. And Lightning's like, dude, we got to go on our own now. We got to survive. We can do this together. And then they realize, wait a minute, the shadows are acting funky. And then Shadow Walker shows up, captures Thunder. And he's like, hey, Lightning, so here's the deal. I know your brother is your weakness. I'm going to keep him here, and I'm going to kill him unless you do exactly what I say, which is get me Caitlin Fairchild. Bring her to me now, okay? And by the way, that little bulb thing on your suit that you've had, which, trust me, they've had, is apparently a tracking device that Shadow Walker has a little piece of himself inside of, so therefore he's always able to find them and call to them. So yeah, go get Caitlin Fairchild. So anyway, nearby, Caitlin and Ridge are talking. They're like, all right, look, it sucks. It sucks that I did those things, but I was always on the side of good, and you guys see me as this bad guy, and Ridge is like, dude, I'm also a teenager, right? I look like a monster, but I'm also a teenager underneath. And how are we supposed to trust you after those things that, how am I supposed to trust you? How are they supposed to trust me? There's a whole bunch of trust issues. And it's like, well, people can change, Ridge. So anyway, then they see a giant bolt of lightning. And they run over, and they find Lightning, and they're like, oh, what's going on? And they're like, Shadow Walker took my brother. And they're like, oh, Shadow Walker, who's that? And Ridge explains briefly for Caitlin, and then understands that he's like, oh, this bulb on my suit is a tracking device? Rip. And he rips it off, and apparently they warned them that if they ever took off that little device, it would kill them. So, playing a big risk there. But it didn't, but it was incredibly painful. So anyway, they go to a abandoned building that is apparently a future home of some Oliver Queen company. And Caitlin and them is like, all right, well, tell me some weakness of Shadow Walker. How do we beat him? And Bridge is like, you don't understand. He doesn't have a weakness. You can't beat him. To which Lightning then shocks them both, knocking them out, being like, you're right. You can only give him what he wants. So then we cut to Shadow Walker talking to Thunder, and it's just like, I really want to eat you, man. I was told I couldn't, but I really want to eat you. And then Lightning shows up and he's like, oh, all right, well, I guess I don't have to eat you now. But then when Lightning shows up, she's just dragging Caitlyn. And it's just like, could you go get Ridge? He's out there too. He's too heavy for me. And Shadows Walker's like, here's the thing. I also need to track Beast Boy because Harvest in an earlier page, I forgot to mention, said, please go get Beast Boy because he wasn't supposed to escape yet. And then Shadow Walker's like, I can't track him. I don't know why I can't track. Why can't I track him? And she's like, I don't know. I saw him leave when we first escaped. I didn't follow him after that. And she's like, are you sure? And he starts using his little shadow tendrils to like really get in there. To which Thunder then starts getting pissed off and he uses an energy blast to escape out of Shadow's tendrils. And then they're like, Lightning, we can beat him together through the power of, I guess, siblings or whatever we are. So they team up together and they start like trying to do a little blast thing. But something's still holding them back, and they realize that it's those trackers, like part of Shadow Walker is inside of them, so therefore they can't beat him. So then Ridge rips off Thunder and Lightning's trackers, which of course intense pain, but now they're able to overcome, and they literally are like, they transform their fury into vengeance, and they can overcome anything. And Shadow Walker's like, no, and Lightning blows him up and beats him. And now they're just left there, four of them as a team. Now, I guess, kind of trusting each other more. Then all of a sudden we get a cut to a dream of a dude bathing in blood with the Ravagers all there dead-eyed next to him, shouting blood, blood, blood. Then Beast Boy wakes up and is just like, he's coming, Terra. Brother Blood is coming, and he's going to kill them all. And that's our going into next issue. Okay. It wasn't awful. Like, I know I'm hard on this series because of this event that it spun out of, but it wasn't awful. It was okay. Like, this was like as much of by the numbers as whatever. Like, okay, you have a group, a shadowy organization that's hunting down these people, and they have all these crazy members, and the other people have to form a team in order to overcome. Okay, fine, I get it. I understand the basic premise here. As such, you're not doing anything special. I want you to, like, blow me away with something here, but, like, all I'm getting is Caitlyn every other page going, how do I reach these kids? So, art is okay, too. It's fine. It's not great. It's not blowing me away. It's fine. I give it, like, a 5.5. And I know that seems harsh for me saying that it's fine, but, like, you have to understand 5 is, like, average of, like, it's not good or bad. It's just there. So this is ever so slightly above that. But, like, I haven't been given a reason to care yet. You had an entire event to set up why I should care, and I still don't have a reason to care.